And so the Health Secretary said on Sky News the fuel situation is stabilising in most parts of the country. Is that correct?
Well, breaking news on Sky. We've just completed our survey of over 1,000 sites across the UK, and the situation is very much better than it was yesterday. 68% of sites have both grades, 16 have 1% or one type or the other, and so only 16% compared to 26% or 27% yesterday have no fuel and are dry. It's much better in the north and Scotland, and London and the southeast really remains the critical area going forward into next week.
So the situation improving. Just reveal those figures again. 16%, because for days you have talked, haven't you, of a quarter or more of your forecourts, which the ones that you operate, which, let's face it, is, 65% of the country had no fuel at all. But 16, 17%, is that what you're saying now?
Just 16%. So that's really a big sort of 10-point improvement over where we've been for the last 3 or 4 days. And the retailers report less surge buying. So we've got to thank the public either for having full tanks already or a little bit of restraint, which we think was very much needed and is very welcome by us all. And of course, in addition to that, we've had the government coming forward with the military drivers. Retailers report they're already out today training with existing drivers and will be ready to start, we hope, on Monday, taking their own tankers around. And in addition to that, the government have extended the visa position by 3 months until the end of March next year, specifically for about 300 HGV drivers that they're hoping to bring in from the continent. So whilst we're not out of the woods, we're certainly looking better. But just around the corner, I'm afraid, the next shock is pricing. Because this week, the wholesale price for both unleaded and diesel has gone up by 3 pence a litre. Nothing at all to do with the fuel crisis in the UK, all to do with global factors of Brent crude creeping up to nearly $80 a barrel, and sterling, unfortunately, weakening a little bit against the US dollar. So because we've had no stock, the new stocks coming in from the oil companies will be at the increased wholesale prices. So consumers can expect price creep at the pump next week by 1, 2, or even 3 pence a litre. And this is not profiteering, not price gouging. This is purely global factors coming into play affecting the wholesale price.
So your retailers can put up prices by as much as they want, can they?
No, they usually put up the prices according to what margin they've decided is right for their business. They're all independent, so those margin requirements can vary a little bit. But they generally put up the prices as the wholesale price increases. And of course, because they've had no stock, there's no old stock to sell at the old prices. These will generally be at the new prices coming in.
Is everyone going to be putting up their prices then in the next few days? If they haven't already, and so many have, as we know.
Yes, there's been 1 or 2 points of profiteering. We certainly don't condone that at all amongst our members. Most of our members have got neighbourhood transient sites where they've got regular customers. And if regular customers have been exposed to any form of profiteering, they've quite likely not to return, and that's what those particular filling stations deserve. They should not be price gouging by up to 10p a litre, as 1 or 2 instances we've heard. This is a industry-wide movement because of wholesale prices increasing because of the global factors I've mentioned.
Just one question for you there is that you say the situation is starting to improve on your forecourts. However, what do you tell people in the southeast of England and specifically London who A, can't find fuel, or B, are having to queue for hours?
We've asked the government to prioritise the independents because there are so many of them. We have 65%, as you mentioned, of all forecourts. And these independent forecourts tend to be very much public-facing. in your neighbourhood, on your transit route, so easily seen by consumers as they drive to work, take the kids to school, go to hospital, whatever other appointments they've got. So until, particularly in London and the southeast, until these filling stations start to get to work again and the public see them, I think it's going to be difficult to completely regain all the confidence that has been lost in recent days.